If the history lesson of Deuteronomy was about where Israel had been, the heart of the covenant was about where their souls needed to stay. Moses knew that a legal document alone couldn't sustain a nation. They needed a pulse, a living, breathing connection to the God who rescued them. On the Plains of Moab, Moses moved past the rules and went straight for the reasons. This is the spiritual core of the covenant. 1. The Shema. The Great Commandment Moses began with a declaration that would become the most famous prayer in Jewish history. It wasn't just an instruction, it was a definition of reality. He called for the people's undivided attention to the nature of God and their response to Him. Israel, remember these, the Lord alone is our God. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. Deuteronomy 6:4-5. This was revolutionary. Most ancient religions were based on fear or keeping distant gods happy. Moses was telling Israel that the heart of the covenant was love. God didn't just want their sacrifices, He wanted their affection and their total being. 2. A faith for the living room. The covenant was unmeant to be locked away in the ark or kept only in the tabernacle. Moses insisted that the heart of the covenant had to be at the dinner table and in the streets. It had to be a lifestyle, not a Sunday ritual. Never forget these commands that I am giving you today. Teach them to your children. Repeat them when you are at home and when you are away, when you are resting and when you are working. Deuteronomy 6:7. Moses envisioned a nation where the conversation about God was as natural as breathing. Parents shared their faith with their children through the rhythm of daily life. 3. The danger of the full stomach. One of Moses' greatest fears for the people was that they would become spiritual amnesia. He knew that when people are hungry in the desert, they pray, but when they are full in a fertile land, they forget. He reminded them that their survival depended on more than just physical food. He made you go hungry, and then He gave you manna to eat, food that you and your ancestors had never eaten before. He did this to teach you that humans do not live on bread alone, but on every word that the Lord speaks. Deuteronomy 8:2-3. The heart of the covenant was a reminder that God is the source of all prosperity. Moses warned them that if they ever started saying, "I got all this wealth by my own power," they would be on the road to ruin. 4. Circumcision of the heart. Moses used a powerful metaphor to explain that the covenant had to go deeper than skin or ritual. While the physical sign of the covenant was circumcision, Moses called for a spiritual version. So then, from now on, be obedient to the Lord and stop being stubborn. The Lord your God will give you and your descendants obedient hearts, so that you will love Him with all your heart and soul, and you will live. Deuteronomy 10:16-30-6. He was telling them that a hard heart is the only thing that could truly separate them from God's blessing. The goal of the law was to produce a people who wanted to do what was right, not just people who were afraid to do what was wrong. 5. The ultimate choice. Life or death. Moses concluded his Heart of the Covenant sermon by laying it all on the line. He made it clear that the covenant wasn't a burden, it was a path to flourishing. He told them that the choice was simple, immediate, and high. I am now giving you the choice between life and death, between God's blessing and God's curse. And I call heaven and earth to witness the choice you make. Choose life. Deuteronomy 32:19. He painted a picture of a God who was standing with open arms, inviting His people into a relationship of mutual love and protection. The heart of the covenant wasn't a set of thou shalt nots, but a thou shalt live. The book ends with Moses looking over the land he would never enter, knowing he had given the people everything they needed to survive. Not just a map for the territory, but a map for their hearts.